Hello everyone, I'm Kalen North and welcome back to Spirit Island. Today we're going to be doing the Board Game Geek Solo Challenge. This is a community challenge that gets posted every month on Board Game Geek. There's a base game and a full island challenge. And this month's base game challenge is Thunderspeaker on Board D. So we're going to be doing this with Thunderspeaker's Tactician aspect. And that's going to be not technically base game, but it's pretty easy to proxy, and it's in the digital version, so that's why they're doing that, apparently. Adversary is Sweden. We can choose whatever difficulty we want. We've chosen difficulty 6. And the first invader card is Wetlands. So I reset the game already repeatedly in order to get a Wetlands Explore first. So we'll go from there, and yeah, I hope you enjoy watching this. Let's see how this turns out. I'm going to hide the little tooltip there and go into the game. All right, our royal backing is in jungles, which is a little obnoxious, going into land 6. Otherwise, we might be able to pocket at that at some point. I feel like the obvious opening to me here is to use a G2 and kind of ignore Thunderspeaker or Tactician's ability to change G3 right now, just to solve land 3 and then solve land 1 with a Words of Warning next turn. On the flip side, we could try and do something else because we do want to get our Dahan set up to avoid any kind of unfortunate conversions later on, where we could do maybe like a sudden ambush plus Voice of Thunder plus destroy a town somewhere and try and just sort of go a little ham with that. Now, which of those is better, I'm not really totally sure. I guess if we do let land 3 blight, they don't get a mining rush in land 2 or 4. So that might be okay to do, and it's only going to be a single blight. They're not going to double blight with just an explorer in a town. So let's gamble on that. Let's see if we might get a nice power card that helps us too. I don't think we really did, but that's fine. So Call to Bloodshed, obviously an interesting one on Thunderspeaker. It's not my favorite here, especially because we do have Manifestation. With Tactician, it's a little nicer to have potentially just because then we can very easily hit our innate, and also, or both our innates actually, and we can also use it to try and help nuke a land somewhere separate from Manifestation, or if we're running low on energy, use it for that. Other than that, I'm not really enthused about anything in this draft. Voracious Growth could let us clean up a Blight maybe, as could Song of Sanctity. Pushing the Explorers isn't usually that great against Sweden here, especially when we don't know for sure if land 5 is the only one where it would be even useful, and I'm not so sure about that. Sunset's Fire flows across the land. I don't think we're going to be able to do. Probably just too energy intense. We'll take Call to Bloodshed for now, and then we're going to do sort of a standard opening here, which is going to mean that we don't do Words of Warning turn 2. So we're going to have to come up with something else to do on turn 2, because we can't afford Manifestation of Power and Glory. So we're going to have to draft something else to go with Call to Bloodshed, probably, which is fine. We'll probably be able to get something useful, and we also can gain a Sun element from our extra growth. I'm going to set up in land... I think I'm going to set up in land 1, because I'm probably going to be pushing things out of land 1 here shortly. And I'm going to go ahead and gain a Sun element. And Sudden Ambush and Voice of Thunder. And then let's go ahead and Sudden Ambush land 1. I'm going to pull the Dahan out of land 2. Invaders build in land 3. And explore the sands. Okay, so that's good to know. That'll give us a nice, easy choice for Lead the Furious Assault. We probably want to get some Dahan down towards land 4 here, just so we can actually do something about that land. But I don't know that we're going to be able to do too much with that just yet. So I think I want to Lead the Furious Assault in land 7 right away. And then I kind of want to get those Dahan out of there to avoid risking any kind of Sweden escalation. We could do something... what do we want to do here? Because we're going to have Call to Bloodshed potentially next turn. So we could just load up land 7 with Dahan, and then, or with at least 4 Dahan total. And then set a couple of Dahan in land 5, potentially. Gather the Warriors isn't going to do too much for us then, but that's okay. So let's just do that. Let's push 1 to land 5 and 2 to land 7. So we're going to avoid any risk of conversions, and we're going to avoid... and we're going to be able to clear land 7 very cleanly next turn. Land 4 is going to be a bit of a mess. I think we're going to be able to get in there and do something about it with Call to Bloodshed, or maybe our other innate. but we're going to have to figure that out in a little bit. So I'm just wondering, do I need to just escape the Dahan from land 7 instead of what I'm doing here? That might be better, because then we can, well, no, let's just go with this and see what happens. I'm just really nervous about those Dahan conversions, as you can probably guess. So let's go ahead and gain another power card. We're going to gain another miner. And, oh, Cycles of Time and Tide. That's fun, although we don't have any Coastal Dahan right now to use it. Gift of Living Energy is fun. I mean, goodness, even Scream Disease into the Wind is kind of interesting to get a disease token somewhere. We could use that to maybe shut down land 7 or stop the town in land 4. But Gift of Living Energy is just such a good card for us. I think that's what I want to do. And we'll have 2 Sacred Sites in a moment, so it's going to be the full 2 energy. I do like to get the air element at this point, just because then we can get to 2 energy next turn, and with Gift of Living Energy, we're definitely going to be able to play Manifestation next turn, so that'll be pretty nice. Then let's go ahead and gain, I think, a sun element here, because we're going to have plenty of sun and fire. And we'll play Gift of Living Energy and Call to Bloodshed. So if I'm not mistaken, this should let us clear land 4. Oh, what are we doing? Search for unclaimed lands. So they'll explore in land 1. That's fine. And then add a disease to a land with 3 or more invaders. That doesn't do anything, unfortunately. And then we can push 3 Dahan. Nope, that doesn't do anything. Okay. Invaders ravaging the wetlands. Build in the sands. And then explore in the sands. So I'm glad we set up those 4 Dahan. So let's see. This land is going to ravage for 5 damage. So Words of Warning is not actually going to be enough for it right now. So I think we want to... What do we want to do here? Maybe we just let land 4 go? I really don't want to do that, though, because then they get the double blight and the mining rush, and then we flip the card. We could try and see if we can draft another power that gives us defend, and then not worry about doing manifestation. But right now, I think the strongest thing I can do is probably pull a Dahan into here, leave 2 presents behind, push all of our Dahan into land 4, along with our presents, and then we will lead the Furious Assault. Well, let's definitely call to Bloodshed here. We're going to do 3 damage, take out the city. And then I think we lead the Furious Assault in land 4. I'm not sure that it actually makes that much difference which one we lead the Furious Assault in. So let's just do it there, and then hopefully we get some kind of defend or something we can use on land 7. So let's gamble on another power card. We're going to take another miner. No defend, nothing fast even. Wow, that's a little rough. I think Twilight Fog Brings Madness is probably the most interesting one here. Goodness, what else could we do? We could Sear Anger into the Wildlands. That doesn't seem great. That double Sand Explorer is getting kind of painful here. So let's go ahead and gamble here, because I'm not sure what else I'm going to do. So let's take Twilight Fog Brings Madness. Let's go ahead and add from our energy track. We'll go to land 7 so that we can still have presence there after we're done. And we'll gain a sun element, because we're going to have plenty of... Well, we only need 1 fire this turn. So we're going to play Words of Warning, we're going to play Manifestation of Power and Glory. And hopefully we get an event that bails us out here, because otherwise this is going to go south real fast. So let's Words of Warning land 7. Careful Defense, that'll do it. Numinous Crisis. Oh, that's also going to be interesting. I don't think we want to pour strength into the island. I think we pretty solidly want to draw strength. But I just want to double check for a moment. Is there any reason why we wouldn't want to draw strength? I don't think there is. So let's just draw strength here. Flip the blight card. Memory Fades to Dust, that's great. That's exactly what the kind of thing we want to see. Plagues bring fear and death. Doesn't really do anything. And then Defend 2 saves us. And we defend even more. All right, well, that's fine. All right, so the island is now in fairly great shape. we will... Okay, we get a Mountains Explorer, and we're going to be able to nuke land 8, probably, and then do something about land 5 here shortly. So let's see. We can gather 3, push 3. So I'm going to go ahead and... Well, we're going to reclaim, I think, next turn anyway, so we can just sudden ambush land 5. So let's just gather all of... Well, what am I thinking? Do we want to take advantage of Lead the Furious Assault somewhere, is the question. And it would be nice to do that, but I think doing that makes it very hard for us to take advantage of Manifestation of Power and Glory. We could also try... No, I don't think that makes sense. I was going to say we could do something like go into land 6 and destroy the town, and then destroy the Explorer in land 5. So if Jungles comes up... that might actually not be the worst. And then we manifest for 1 damage in land 5, and then deal with land 8 after it builds, which generates a little more fear. So let's go ahead and do this. It's a little dumb. I do want to grab 3 Dahan into there, and then push 2 Dahan out with 1 presence. And then that's going to be Manifestation for 1 damage. All right. And then Lead the Furious Assault in land 6. And then we are safe from Sweden escalations because Mountains has already come up, and Jungles is pocketed. And then now this turn, I think we just reclaim. We could go for like 3 card plays before we reclaim, or we could do another growth 3, but I don't think that's worth it. I think we just want to reclaim and get a major now that we have all this energy from Numinous. So let's see what expensive cards we can get and potentially play. Oh, Exaltation of the Incandescent Sky. That's a fun card. So is Pyroclastic Flow. I don't think we have a presence in the right spot for Pyroclastic Flow, sadly, because we'd want to use it on land 8, and we don't really want to blight either of these other lands. Pillar of Living Flame could be kind of nice. That would clear land 8 very nicely. Rapid Wings of Sunlight, obviously, very good Thunderspeaker card. Exaltation of the Incandescent Sky. Man, I wish I could do this, but I don't think it's going to actually work for us. Yeah, it's just too much here. Like, if it wasn't solo, if this was multiplayer, I would slam Exaltation, I think, just because it can help so much on 2 different boards. I think I'm gonna take the bad choice here and get Pillar of Living Flame, because it's fun and I like to do that sometimes. And we'll go ahead and forget probably Call to Bloodshed. I don't think we need that one as much. Now that we've got oodles and oodles of energy. And then on top of Pillar of Living Flame, let's take... Do we want another major? I think we can probably get away with just a minor at this point. So let's get another minor. And then we'll use Pillar of Living Flame and Manifestation to just hopefully finish off the game. Oh, Gold's Allure. That's actually really nice here. We could use it to pull some stuff out of land 1 or land 2 maybe, and strife some of the mountains. Enticing Splendor, also very interesting. Could pull... Actually, we could pull the town out of land 8 and stop the build there, and then defend it in land 7. Or it wouldn't stop the build, excuse me. It would stop the city build. And then defend land 7 to clear it on the Ravage. I don't know that I particularly want to do that. I think I want to take Gold's Allure here and try and do something cute with that instead. So let's play Pillar of Living Flame. Let's play Gold's Allure. We will get to gather 1 Dahan somewhere. So this is going to be a rather underwhelming turn, but next turn should be a lot better with going to 3 card plays. We'll probably gather 1 Dahan into land 8. And I forgot completely about this, but let's just destroy a presence from land 7. That's not going to be a big deal. Lesser Spirits Imperiled. All right. So we could... I do not want... I would really much rather forge a Web of Mutual Support here if I can. And I have Gift of Living Energy, which I can forget, and get that permanent element. So that would be kind of cool. Return to Old Pillars. I don't know if that's going to be helpful or not. But let's start with forging a web. We could just discard, but I think forgetting Gift of Living Energy is fine here. We'll destroy the presence in... Let's destroy another presence in land 7. Oh, actually, yeah, that's fine, because we'll get a Sacred Site rebuilt for Pillar of Living Energy, Pillar of Living Flame, excuse me, in a moment here. The question then is, what element do we want to gain permanently? And I think we want to gain an air, because then that's going to let us... Well, no, everything in our hand has air already, so we shouldn't need air at this point. Maybe if we gain another fire, that would be useful. That would be enough to let us... No, that wouldn't be quite enough to let us max the right innate. And we're definitely going to play something with animal. So I guess yeah. Let's just take the other air, and be a little disappointed at it. All right, Beast gets moved to there. We get to gather 2 Dahan. I'm going to gather 2 Dahan from land 6, where they're not going to be useful, into land... I think with Gold's Allure, I want to put them into land 5. But I'm not sure that that's actually going to be worth it. I'm just trying to think if there's any reason why they'll end up with a town that we can actually pull in with Gold's Allure, and I don't think they will. So let's put them into land 7 so that we can have... No, let's put them into land 5, because land 5 will be closer to lands 2 and 3, where we need to actually deal damage here in a minute. All right, Explore doesn't affect coastal lands. That's great. No Ravage in the Sands. Build in the mountains. And Explore jungles, which does nothing. Great. Although there is still a city there in land 2, so that's not ideal. All right, we're going to Pillar of Living Flame on land 8. Destroy the city and the town. 5 damage is so much more damage than 4 damage. And then we'll gather the warriors. I'm going to pull 1 Dahan into land 8. I am not going to bring a presence with it. And I'm going to Gold's Allure and pull an Explorer from land 1 into land 5 and strife it. All right, let's get 3-card plays. We probably want to put at least one of these presents here, and let's put one in land 8 as well, just so that we can get back there if we need to later on. Words of Warning isn't going to do anything this turn. I guess it would be some insurance against a bad event hurting land 8, but I don't think that's that important. Although, on the other hand, what is Sudden Ambush going to do for us? Yeah, Sudden Ambush isn't going to do anything here either. So I guess we want to play one of these for the animal element. I guess let's play Words of Warning because it's cheaper. And then I want to play Twilight Fog Brings Madness, I believe, and Manifestation of Power and Glory. Is that right? No, let's not play Twilight Fog. Let's play Voice of Thunder, because that'll give us a bit more Dahan movement, and then we can go ahead and manifest to clear land 2, and then maybe even take out the town in land 3 here in a moment. So Words of Warning in land 8. Gather the warriors. I don't know that we want to do this right away. I think we do want to wait on this, but we could potentially move some folk into land 2 already. But let's not do that yet. Let's wait until we see what they do. Yep, memory fades to dust. We'll destroy 1 presence. Actually, maybe we should forget a power here. Is there a power we could forget easily? We could just forget Gold's Allure from our discard. I don't think it's going to do too much at this point. New species spread. All right. This is going to be slightly annoying, but we can transmute the worst. We have to forget Twilight Fog Brings Madness, I believe, or discard it and pay 2 energy. But then we will get an energy, and we will get a disease and lose a Dahan, which is frustrating. But we're going to still transmute the worst. I'm just going to forget Twilight Fog Brings Madness, I think. And then, because we get our Reclaim 1 next turn, so we could do something with that, potentially. But I have to discard it anyway. So let's save our energy. Let's lose the Twilight Fog Brings Madness. We'll add the Beast token to say, let's put it in land 2. And then we add a disease. We want to do it in land 5, because we don't want to lose the Dahan counterattack in land 8. Gain an energy. And then we remove an Explorer. Okay, well that's just frustrating. And then invaders explore the coastal lands. So that's fine. So let's go ahead and gather the warriors. We can gather 5, push 3. So I'm going to gather everything into land 1 and then push 3 into land 2. So we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get some presents as well. And then push 3 into here, along with 3 presence discs. And then we can manifest here to clear this land. That gets us to Terror 2. We can Voice of Thunder to push these Dahan into land 3. And then we will finish off the game with Lead the Furious Assault in land 3. So, that was I made that more complicated than it needed to be. But there we go. We beat Sweden. We took 1 Blight. Not too bad. We did lose a Dahan, which is unfortunate. But, bad event's going to be bad events. So, Terror level 2 win. We got 62 points, which is pretty reasonable, I think, here. Turn 5. Yeah. That's the monthly Spirit Island solo challenge on Board Game Geek, Base Island. I highly recommend you check it out. There'll be a link in the description to the forum post. But thank you all for watching. And, you know, if you have comments, thoughts, things I did wrong, other things you would have done differently, you know, just let me know in the comments below. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.